Life has a way of showing us unexpected sides of people, especially when they're facing deep struggles. Recently, I came across a story that felt raw and unfiltered, a moment of rare honesty and vulnerability from someone who had been connected to Daystar. It was surprising because it revealed a side of Joni Lamb, someone many of us know as the composed and gracious personality from television, that was completely different. This account wasn't about perfection, but about humanity, frailty, conflict, and a desperate cry for resolution. It painted a picture of turmoil within relationships, the weight of personal and professional struggles, and the urgent need for reconciliation. What stood out to me most wasn't just the shock of what was shared, but the deeper lesson it carries for all of us. Before we hear the audio, here's how the story unfolded. Joni Lamb, yes, the Joni we see on TV, made a call, and what unfolded was far from what you'd expect. She wasn't the composed, sweet person we usually see. She was upset, really upset. She even said things like her son Jonathan was trying to kill her, not literally, but in the sense of how his actions were allegedly impacting the company and her personally. She described the situation as him destroying us, destroying me. It sounded like a family and ministry in deep turmoil. In the conversation, she defended someone named Pete, someone others, like Rebecca and JW, had distanced themselves from, and described him as a good guy despite their issues. On the other hand, she dismissed claims made by someone named Susie, calling her a pathological liar, even as those claims pointed to serious past issues involving another individual. Listen to the client who left Daystar.
Joni Lamb called me. The biggest shock to me when Joni called me, she wasn't the Joni off television. She was fit to be tied. She was angry. She was even upset that I would say nice things about her son, because she said, Jonathan is trying to kill me. And I said, he's trying to kill you. And she said, he's destroying the company. He's destroying us. He's destroying me. And I said, no, Joni, something very bad has happened. And there's been an essay and all of this. Oh, no. And then she defended Pete. He's hurt Pete so much. The Pete that Rebecca and JW wrote a huge letter about. That Pete? The Pete that Rebecca and JW won't let into their home. That Pete is a good guy. She said that Susie was a pathological liar and that she had made these accusations against a very nice man, the chiropractor, who is deceased now, but has a record and attacked her. So I was in shock what Joni was saying to me. I implored her. I said, please reconcile with Jonathan for yourself. That would be the hope. I saw that side of her. I can only say it's nothing like the Joni on television. It's nothing like that sweet person. But I did see that person somewhat in the video where she was talking about Jonathan has been conducting a smear campaign. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I hadn't seen Jonathan conducting a smear campaign. I'd seen Jonathan in turmoil.
The person sharing this was shocked. They tried to encourage Joni, saying, please reconcile with Jonathan for your sake. But the situation seemed so heavy, full of pain and misunderstandings. This hit me because it reminds us how even those in ministry, whom we might see as having it all together, are human. They face struggles, conflicts, and even fractured relationships. And honestly, it's a reminder for all of us about the importance of reconciliation and humility in our relationships. The Bible speaks so clearly about these things. Ephesians 4:32 says, be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you. We all need that grace, don't we? And in Romans 12:18, it says, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. That's not always easy, especially when emotions are high, but it's what God calls us to do. Hearing this story made me think about how often we need to pray for leaders, whether in ministry or elsewhere. They carry so much weight, and their humanity can sometimes peek through in ways that surprise us. Okay, so I was watching this video where Joni Lamb is talking to Dr. Doug Weiss about betrayal, and it really got me thinking. This was before Marcus Lamb passed away, and the conversation was so raw. Joni was opening up about the pain of betrayal, particularly in relation to things that were going on within Daystar and her marriage. You could tell this wasn't just about a simple misunderstanding, it was deep emotional pain. But here's the thing, what really stood out to me is that Joni and Dr. Doug Weiss had such an open and honest exchange. The way they were talking, it made me wonder, did they know each other before Marcus passed? I mean, they seemed so comfortable with each other, almost like longtime friends or someone who's walked through similar journeys together. It didn't feel like a casual chat, but more like they were sharing their hearts and some deep truths. I don't know for sure, but based on the conversation, it seems like they've been through some intense times together. It wasn't just a professional interview, but a real moment of vulnerability between two people who understand the weight of betrayal and pain in a personal way. Anyway, you really have to watch the video to see how this all unfolds. It's a powerful conversation, especially when you consider everything that happened after Marcus's passing.
The book is entitled Partner Betrayal Trauma. We need to learn about this today so either A, we can heal from it, or B, we can avoid ever getting ourselves in that situation. So please join Joni and me as we welcome back from Colorado Springs, Colorado, Dr. Doug Weiss. Why did you write this book?
Well, because I deal with partners for over the last 30 years who've been betrayed. Women tend to try to stay in the relationship. They try to work it out. And what's really incredibly courageous, incredibly powerful is here is the man who said they would never hurt you. They destroy your life. We see these women stand up and save their families where the man has done all he could do to destroy it.
The important thing is, like you said, for men and women that are trying to keep their marriage together, maybe they've had trauma, like you said. The thing is, there is hope and healing.
Oh, yes.
And there is restoration. And I guess that's your end game in all of this and
Absolutely.
sharing. But how important is it for the husband or the wife to understand what betrayal really does? How important is that?
Well, I think it's huge because since this book has come out in the video, men's lights come on. They're like, oh my gosh, this is what I've done to her? Yeah, that's what you've done to her.
This story is a powerful reminder that no one, no matter how polished or composed they may seem, is immune to struggles and brokenness. Joni Lamb's vulnerability in that moment revealed the weight of conflict and the toll it takes on relationships, even in places where faith and ministry are central. It also underscores a vital truth. Reconciliation and healing are not optional, they are essential. The Bible urges us in 2 Corinthians 5:18 that God has given us the ministry of reconciliation. Whether in our families, workplaces, or communities, we are called to bridge divides, even when it feels difficult or uncomfortable. This account challenges us to extend grace, pray for our leaders, and examine our own hearts. Are there relationships we need to mend? Are we willing to embrace the humility required to seek peace? As followers of Christ, let's remember that His power is made perfect in our weakness, 2 Corinthians 12:9. And it's through Him that restoration is possible. Let's keep lifting one another up, especially those who carry the heavy responsibility of leadership, and commit to being peacemakers in a world that desperately needs it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content that connects real-life stories with timeless biblical truths. God bless you.